Good, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning in from in the world. This is part three in our series on goal setting. And I want to welcome you to this group, to these videos. If you are a woman, if you're a wife, if you're a single income family, my mission is to help you get out of debt and find the freedom that God designed us for. My name is Larissa Palazzolo, and in 2019, I was able to pay off $92,000 of debt in 12 months. And 4 years later, my husband and I became millionaires from following strategic steps to get out of debt, being faithful with what we have, and that includes goal setting. So, welcome to part three in goal setting. And tonight, I also want to wish you a happy Hanukkah. If you celebrate the feasts of the Lord, the feasts in the Bible, it is the festival of lights. And I believe that we can use more light in this world today. And I believe if you are watching this, it's no coincidence. I believe you are destined to be one of those lights. So, welcome. And let's get into the material. Let's have a little review of session one. We talked about the mindset that you need for goal setting. Everything starts in the mind, everything starts with a thought. So you need to have your mind and the soil of your mind prepared. You need to program your mind for that success. So that was part one. You can review that if you haven't already seen it. Part two, we talked about categorizing and prioritizing our goals. So think about the things that you have dreamed about or desired. Your desire reveals what you were designed for. So again, you can review session two. Think about what you want. Take some time to journal what you really want. And once you do that, you can put those things into different buckets or different categories. We definitely want to have a balanced life, and we need to look at goals in every area of our life. So tonight, we're just going to talk about the practicality of what you need to reach those goals that you've dreamt about, reach those goals that you've written down. We talked about choosing a cornerstone goal or a foundational goal. Take a look at what you've written, and there is probably one goal or one area of your life that is the weak link. That's the area that you want to focus on. Or there might be one particular goal or desire or need that is going to be foundational for all the other goals. And I shared a little bit about my goal of prioritizing sleep. Me and lack of sleep, I like to keep going and going and burning the candle at both ends. And that is not actually productive. It seems like it is, but it's not. It affects your health, it affects your mind, it affects your moods, your emotions, your thoughts. If you haven't had sleep consistently for 3 days in a row, it's like you're drunk, all right? So for me, that is my goal coming up for the new year, and I'm working on it right now. Strategies to get that weak link nailed down, to develop those new habits, because I know that for that particular goal, once I nail it down, once I develop those good new habits, it's going to support every single area of my life. So, what is your touchstone? What is your major goal? What is your greatest need? What is going to push up all of the levels in your life to help you level up? So, once you decide that, I'm going to give you the steps on how to achieve your goals. And we'll start with the main one. Just start with that main one first. This is something that every single goal must have, every single one. And if you look at people that have achieved great things in their life, they've set a goal and they have followed this method to achieve it. And when I tell you this method, you're going to say, you probably say, I've heard that before. Yeah. But have you applied it? And if you didn't reach the goal, have you reevaluated and reapplied the same steps? Before we get into that, I want you to think about the timing of things. There is a time for everything. And in Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every activity under heaven." A time for every activity under heaven. There is also another scripture, Genesis 1:14, where God says, "Let lights appear in the sky to separate the day from night. Let them be signs to mark the seasons, the days, and the years." Another thing that's also in Genesis 8:22, "As long as the earth remains, there will be planting and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night." Do you see a pattern? There are things that are scheduled and they occur regularly. Okay, so keep that in mind. Jeremiah 8:7 says, "Even the stork in the heavens knows her times, and the turtle dove, and the swallow, and the crane keep the time of their coming." All right, so we're talking about scheduling. We're talking about an appointed time. We're talking about making appointments. God has made appointments for day and night to arrive. He's made appointments for seasons to come and go. And I believe the Bible is the best success book ever written. Let's follow that example. Timing. Have you set a time for you to achieve your goal? Have you put it on a calendar? Have you marked it out? If you haven't done it, that is probably a very big reason why you haven't achieved that goal. I'll give you a modern day example. How about a GPS? A GPS will tell you where to go. It will tell you, once you type in the address. So that's the first thing. You have to type the goal into the GPS. Where are you going? Specifically. So if you're going to visit, let's say, New York, you're not going to just type in New York. Who knows where in New York you're going to get dropped off? You're going to type a very specific address or or the coordinates. What do they call those? 10 degrees north, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have the GPS actual longitude and latitude coordinates. It needs to be very specific. So as you're considering your personal goal, how specific can you get? Down to the longitude and latitude. The more specific you get, the more likely you're going to hit it. You must be specific. It cannot be a blurry picture. It can't be a kind of, somewhere I want to land somewhere in New York or somewhere in this borough. You want the exact address. 55555, 12th Street, apartment D1, very specific. If you have a blurry field of vision, you're not going to hit anything. If you have ever done any sort of target practice, if you have blurry glasses, are all smudged up. That happens to me. I have glasses, they get blurry. I'm not going to see the goal. Or if I'm hitting a target, I'm not going to hit the target unless I get a clear picture. That is how clear you need your goals to be. Okay. Then you have to know exactly where you're at. You have to go, in order to go from here to here, the GPS is going to say, where are you? Where are you going to? Where do you want to leave from? If you have a weight loss goal, you need to know how much you weigh. If you say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, well, how much do you weigh now? If you don't know that, you're not going to know when you actually lose the 10. Okay, so really take time to be specific and think about what you want. Once you do that, and again, this might already sound familiar to you, but if you haven't reached those goals and you still have a desire, then re-listen to this, remind yourself of what to do. Set the appointment. And you're going to need to break up things into bite-sized pieces. If you are going to New York from, let's say, Florida, and you've typed in your home address and the address where you're going to, you're going to imagine how long it's going to take. If you drive nonstop from somewhere in Florida to somewhere in New York, it could take you 24 hours if you drive nonstop. That's not going to be a fun drive. You're going to need to plan some rest times, some potty breaks, some coffee breaks, some meal breaks along your trip. You might even need to spend the night somewhere. You might need to get a hotel room. You need to plan the trip in bite-sized increments. If you just start driving from Florida to New York without a plan, you can probably get there. Just drive straight north, but it's going to take you a lot longer. It's not going to be as comfortable a trip. It's going to be stressful. Plan your goal and break it down into tasks. Reaching your goal is simply a matter of bite-sized tasks. And depending on the type of person you are, the smaller the tasks, the more bite-size the tasks, the easier it's going to be to achieve. So think about that. Think about that. If you have a goal that is overwhelming, work backwards. If you want to be a pilot, I'm throwing a lot of examples out here. If you want to be a pilot, well, you're going to need to get your pilot's license. How do you get your pilot's license? You're going to need to fly some hours. You're going to need to take some tests. You're going to need to find the school that's going to teach you how to pass the tests, the flying tests and the non-flying tests. Hey, and then you're going to need a medical exam. You have to be physically fit to fly. How do you get the medical exam? You have to find a medical examiner. How do you find the medical examiner? Hey, maybe you could talk to some people. Maybe you could look at some Google reviews, blah, 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 blah. You work backwards. And then you have your detailed list. And you choose how quickly you want to get there. Do you want to go fast paced? Do you want to go slow and steady? It's totally up to you. But once you create those task lists, make an appointment with yourself, put it on the calendar, put a time on the calendar. I hope that you make doctor's appointments or dental appointments, you put it on your calendar. And when you open it up, you're like, oh, 2 o'clock on Thursday, I got to go to the dentist. Ooh, I'm glad I wrote it down. Otherwise, I would have forgotten about it. All right, so break that down. Research medical examiners, Wednesday, noon, on my lunch break. Okay, on noon on the 14th. Okay, then on the 17th, noon again, I'm going to research the flight schools. When you do that, when you make an appointment with yourself and you keep it, I'm going to say this again, when you make an appointment with yourself and when you keep that appointment, you build confidence into achieving that goal. Sometimes we doubt. Sometimes we get insecure. And sometimes we even give up. But let me tell you something. You can take the next step. You don't have to achieve the whole goal tomorrow. You just need to take the very next step. And don't leave it to chance. Don't leave it to the wind. Take your destiny in your own hands and take the next step. So here we are. This is straight and simple. You can do it. I believe in you. And I know this works because I've done this. And if you doubt that you can achieve your goal, I'm going to tell you, you know what? That's okay. Just take the next step and do it. And your next step, after you've done the assignments from part 1, part 2, you've found your goals, and you've broken it down into all the little mini steps, get a calendar out. And if you don't have a calendar, just go online. You can find lots of free calendars to print out and write those steps down. And once you do it for that primary goal, you can add other goals. You can have your 1-year goals, your 3-year goals, your 5-year goals, your 10-year goals, your lifetime goals. This is part of what makes life fun and what makes us feel like we're valued, like we're moving towards something. All right. So you were designed for a purpose, and your desire reveals what you were designed for. You got to take some time alone to reflect, to journal, to find those main goals that your heart is just aching for. So your next step, your assignment, if you will, for this video is make those appointments with yourself. Make those appointments with yourself. And if you are in my group, my women's group, share and encourage the other women there. And I like to call it a sprout. That's what I was taught. When you take that one little step, like, hey, I found my medical examiner. I found the flight school that I'm going to take. I made an appointment to talk to people so they can go over the program. Whatever those tiny little sprouts are, it's going to build your confidence to have other people celebrate it with you. And I want to share, this is really important. Sometimes we have people in our lives that squash what we want to do. Sometimes we have people in our lives that it could be a parent, it could be a friend that might say, hey, that's stupid, that's too expensive, you're too old, you're too young, do you really want to do that? And that is not helpful, and you don't deserve that. So if you want to join my group, put a comment down. It's free, and it's a great group of women who just want to uplift each other. If you're already in the group, share your sprout so we can uplift you, so we can be inspired by you. All right, because I want to see you succeed. And if you don't believe in yourself just yet, that's okay. I believe in you, and I will believe in you until you start believing in yourself. I will believe in you until you start believing in yourself. I've been there, I've had the doubt, and I had somebody believe in me. And it's made all the difference. So that is your next step. Make those appointments. If you need extra help, ask in the group or join the group. If you really want to dig deep into the nitty-gritty, I do have a waiting list for coaching clients. You can get with me. If you want a link, this is the book that I use every year. It's called Developing a Vision, a Life Map Guidebook. This is You can go to DannyJohnson.com. You can go to Destiny Global. You can ask for my link if you're not sure where to find it. And for $29 a month, you can even quit after the first month. You can get this course. This is what I use. There's tons of other courses on starting businesses, building relationships, things like that to move you forward. And if that's not where you're at, just watch all my free videos, join my free group. I'm not asking you to spend money, but I am here to help you. And start where you're at and keep going. And I believe in you. Thank you for joining me. My 30 minutes are just about up. Share your sprouts and let me know how you're doing, and never give up and keep dreaming. All right, I will see you next time. Good night, Shabbat Shalom, Happy Hanukkah, and keep dreaming, because your desire that you were created with reveals what you were designed for.